Hey guys, it's Duct Tape Susie, and this is my booklet wallet tutorial. These are the things you're going to need: 1 to 2 rolls of duct tape, Ziploc, Velcro, scissors or an X-Acto knife, ruler, cutting mat, and a board. Now to get started, these are the measurements you're going to need for your horizontal pockets, your V pocket, and your vertical pockets. So basically I'm just doing the horizontal pockets like you normally would, sticking them onto itself. Most people already know this step, so you can just skip it if you'd like. Now for the vertical pockets, for the first pocket I'm doing the same thing I just did with the horizontal. The second vertical pocket I will be doing with the 3 pieces of tape. You're lining them up so the side width is 3 inches. Flip it over, take your next piece of tape and line it up to the top. You're going to go from the bottom up and stick it onto itself, creating a 2.5 inch pocket. So now for the V pocket, you just flip over or take 1 strip of tape and your ruler, you're going to line it up from corner to corner, and you're going to cut halfway down, not all the way, just halfway, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side to make sure you have a nice straight line. Now set this piece of tape aside, you're going to use it later on. Flip over your other piece and stick this to it. Cut a slit down the middle right where the sticky is and fold it onto itself. And there's your V pocket. So for this step you're going to need 2 strips that are 6 inches long and 3 strips that are 8 inches long. I did 8 inches long on the 3 strips, but I suggest doing 7 to 7.5. 8 inches gave me a lot of sticky on the edges, and you'll see that in a little bit, so it's totally up to you what you want to do. You're going to take your second piece of tape, line it up to 3 3/4 of an inch and lay it down onto itself, and it barely will overlap. So if it's 3.5 to 3 3/4, that's fine. Just remember to when I tell you your measurements later on, that you'll have to adjust those to whatever your width is on the sides. So after you've trimmed down your sides and you flip it over, you're going to take 1 strip of tape to the bottom, and you're going to leave about a 1/2 inch sticky on both sides and the bottom. And obviously my sticky is much larger than a 1/2 inch, but at the time, this is like my 3rd booklet wallet, so I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So you're doing that to the rest of it. This top part, you'll see I have a lot of leftover tape, and you're just going to save that for later. When you trim that down, you're going to save it for later, and you will use it to seal up your coin pouch, or to seal up the sticky part of it. I try to save things for later on so I don't waste tape. And then afterwards, you're just going to flip this over and cut out your 4 corners, little boxes in each corner. And if you still think your sticky is a little too wide, this is a good time to be able to cut it back down after you cut out your 4 corners, like I'm doing right here. Now set that aside. And this is going to be the Ziploc part of it. You're going to need your Ziploc and 5 strips of 3 3/4 inch tape. You only see 4 there, but you'll need 5. Separate your your Ziploc. I don't know why I keep calling it Velcro Ziploc. Separate your Ziploc. There you go. And you're just going to cover up the one end up to your Ziploc, but not covering your Ziploc. You're just covering the baggy part of it. You see there. And then you just fold it over onto its sticky side. And you're going to do that to both of them. And once you've done that, you're going to take your next strip of tape and cover up the bottom part of that Ziploc, just the baggy part, not the actual Ziploc. So you're going to take your fourth strip and you're going to cover up the back of that sticky, creating some more sticky at the bottom so it will stick to the panel. So now you're going to take the one piece of Ziploc and you're going to fold over the sticky onto it. Now you could have skipped a step on where you were putting the tape on the Ziploc on the top part of it, because you're just folding the sticky over on it, but I tried that in my previous booklet wallets and the plastic baggy part of the Ziploc brand Ziploc was really weak and it had pulled apart, so that's why I doubled it up. You'll see here's kind of why I doubled it up. So you just fold over that sticky. Now you're going to take your fifth strip of tape and you're going to cover the bottom part of the baggie of the Ziploc there and the sticky, and it also has extra to stick to the panel. Now it might be easier to do that before you stick it down like I did, and yeah, I had to pull in 2 different types of scissors to get that the little edge off from that. It's pretty sad. So now that part's done, you're just going to grab your second part and snap them together. You want to be able to hear like the snap, the lock sound when you seal the 2 pieces of Ziploc together. If they don't, then you did something wrong and you covered your Ziploc some point in time. Fold that down and you're going to take that piece of tape I told you to save earlier and cut a piece off from that to cover up your sticky. If you didn't save it, that's okay, just cut a piece of tape. Zip it back together and you're going to cut the sticky right where the end of the pocket is and fold over your sides. Now you have a Ziploc coin pouch. For this part, you're going to need 1 strip that is 3 3/4 inches long. You're going to cut it into 1/2 inch strips. So you should have a total of 4 1/2 inch strips. And you're just trimming your pockets right now for your horizontal pockets. And then the last 2 pieces of tape that you'll have after trimming your 2 pockets will be to seal your pocket down into the panel. So once you have that done, you're going to take that first pocket from your bottom all the way up to 2 1/2 inches and tape it down. You'll see here I'm just testing it to see where they fit at. So from the bottom up, you go 2 1/2 inches. Take your one piece and stick it half onto your pocket and half of sticky so it'll stick to the panel. And then you're going to take your second pocket and do the same thing. This one's going to be a little bit lower than the first one. And then you take your V pocket, you lay it down, the bottom, lining it up at the bottom, and you just fold over your sticky onto your V pocket. Sorry, my dog's kind of being a pain in the butt all of a sudden. So now you're just going to cut slits on your side sticky over here and fold over your edges. And don't forget later on to cut out your little slits for your cards to fit into your pockets. So now we're working on the third panel. You're going to need 4 strips that are 2 3/4 inches long, 4 strips that are 3 3/4 inches long, and then whatever trim color you're doing for your vertical pocket, you'll need it to be 2 3/4 inches long too. You're going to cut that into 1/2 inch measurements, so you should have a total of 4 of them. You'll use 2 for your vertical pockets, and you'll use the other 2 to seal them down onto the panel. So this part's a pretty simple part, just putting the trims on it. You probably already know how to do this, which is a good thing since you can't see me doing it. And you can see my ID already has its trim on it, and that's because I used the leftover orange tape that I had for my V pocket. I cut out the triangle, I used it on my ID. So now we're going to build this panel to put these pockets on, and you're going to take 2 of your strips of tape and you're lining them up so it is 3 inches long, and these are your 2 3/4 inch strips of tape. Fold it over and you're just going to cover that up with the remaining 2 pieces of 2 3/4 inches. And then you're just going to cut your edges so nice and straight. Now you're going to take your first pocket, and I did an oopsie here. You want to go down further than I am. You want to go 1.5 inches down from the top. You want it to be a little bit further down. My card didn't fit my pocket, so that's a mistake I learned from. So if you're doing this part right here, check your cards before you finish taping it all together. Otherwise you have to tear it all apart and refix it like I have to. So now we're just going to put the ID in the pocket together. So this is where your strips of 3 3/4 inch tapes are coming in handy. You're going to line it up so there's a 1/4 inch sticky over the top. Take your second one. You're wanting this to be as wide as your panel. So it should be about 3 inches since you're using 1/4 of it as sticky. Flip it over. Take one of your other pieces of tape. Bring it down 1/4 of an inch so you have that sticky at the top. Place it down, and then grab your second piece and finish covering up that sticky. Now you can just line your ID up there and fold over the sticky onto the ID. You're also going to need one strip that's 3 3/4 inches and one strip that's 2 3/4 inches. And you're going to cut them both in half. And right here I am using a half piece of the 2 3/4 inches to seal the 2 together on the top. And you just want to trim it down so that way your sticky's not too wide and covers your pockets. I had a little bit of trouble here. You just fold over your remaining sticky once you've got it all trimmed down. Now you're going to take the 3 3/4 inch strip that you have a strip of, and you're going to cover the one end and fold over your remaining sticky. And this will be on the opposite side of the ID that doesn't have the pocket. So now you're just going to take the last strip of tape you have that is the 2 3/4 of the 1/2 inch strip, and you're going to seal up the bottom by putting half of it on one panel and then flipping over the sticky onto the other. I'm just making sure my edges are nice and straight. And right here I should have had a thicker piece because the pieces of tape that I used to hold down my pockets, it doesn't cover right here, you'll see. Big oopsie. Okay, so take your last strip of 3 3/4 inch tape, that is a half strip, and you're going to place half of it on the vertical pocket side. Well, not half of it, but do your trim however you like, and then fold in the remaining sticky into the pouch. So afterwards, it should be finished. You have your pouch, your ID on one side, and your 2 vertical pockets on the other. Now we're going to put this together. You're going to need one strip of tape that is 3 3/4 inches. you're just going to cut this in half. And you're going to seal down the one end by placing like 1/4 of the sticky onto the vertical pockets and then putting the remaining onto the panel itself. Flip it over and use the other half strip that you have there. I'm just cutting mine down so it's not so thick. And this part's a little tricky because you need to put half of it on the panel itself and then tuck the other half inside the pouch, because you don't want to seal off your pouch. That's going to be where you put your money at. You'll see right here I am putting it inside it. And so there you go. Now you're going to cut your remaining sticky that you have on your edges and fold over the sticky parts. And then you're almost finished. You need to make a strap. And then I lost the footage for the strap, so you'll need a 2-inch piece of tape, and you just fold it in half onto itself, onto the sticky, so it doesn't have any rough edges. And then put your Velcro on the front part underneath it. I didn't have any Velcro, so I couldn't show you how to do it here. But if you don't know how to make this strap, I think I show you in my portfolio tutorial. It's really simple. So that's it, you guys. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, you can comment down below, or you can email me at ducttapesusie@gmail.com. It's all lowercase and no spaces. Yeah, haha, I messed up right there. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much. Bye!